to pay you. That's
Yeah, and
basic
hello
business, but
everybody.
people.
And
Hey.
for that matter, John, yes. If I contact somebody and say that they're, whatever their rate is, quite frankly, but let's just say I'm talking to an artist and they're 50 a page, right? And then
Mm.
I'm like, okay, dude, 50 a page, you're awesome. I want you for the book. And they're like, yeah, I'm all booked up right now. I can't take on new work. Then I want to say you should raise your rate.
Right.
I've actually told
Yeah,
people
you
that.
need to raise your rate until you actually have an availability. That's just market signals. But a lot of
Mm.
Unless you
people don't
just
think
like
that way.
being booked up for the foreseeable future. But
Right? Yeah.
me,
Unless you
well,
need
The
that
cost
job
of living
security.
is low enough. $50 a page can be a lot.
Sure. I mean that's. But I mean, all right. So like this
but
is
for
where I
me,
gotta
if
I
I'm
gotta be
posting for
business
a
person,
job,
right?
I
If you're
want
a
the job to
person,
be
yeah.
ready to start in 2 weeks. I don't want to be like, I'm posting for a job because I want it to start, not because I want to wait 6 months to
If
start
someone's
my book.
responding to a solicit and not available, they're the asshole.
Right. Although all I'm saying is that in in terms of artists, if you're a new artist, then yeah, whatever you can get is sounds pretty good, and just price yourself low because you want the availability and you want the work, and then as you get more work and your amount of time available for new projects comes down, now you start to move your rate up. It's just that's how you should do it, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it's
I'm
basic
not an
market
artist.
economics. But
Yes,
a
exactly.
lot of people don't seem to understand those concepts.
I mean, a lot of people are in treating their art practice as a business, or maybe they're really new and still like feel like they're still getting their feet wet. I mean, I'm doing a bunch of work for a couple of people right now, editing and writing on discount because I'm not like super comfortable being like, yeah, I know everything. Let's go edit the fuck out of this or whatever.
Right.
Right? Preston is one of those people. He offered me a rate, and I offered him a lower flat rate.
There you go.
But I hope he's getting value out of it. He still
Me
talks to
too.
me. So
Exactly. Me too. All right. So I got some inks in for Palace of the Golden Princess, and it's been getting some good interaction scores. We got 5 tweets there, one quote tweet. Thank you very much, Cheyenne. 23 likes. Uh, so here's page one, and
Jag does some good work.
he does. Yeah, this is. I like
oh,
you.
someone thought
That's
it
what.
was Kanan on Lines and Names. Definitely not.
What was your note?
Oh, I'm just looking at the comments here. Everett Todd
Oh
says
yeah,
Kanan on Lines and Names, and
yeah,
it's not.
yeah.
So
No,
no.
no.
If it was Kanan on Lines and Names, it wouldn't get done for another 6 months.
Yeah, Kanan does good work, but he doesn't like to be hurried. I'm gonna say that. Yeah. Um. But yeah, so boom. There's page one, and then we have page two. People seem to. I liked page two.
That's
Um.
because there's spooge on boobs.
Yeah. And I really liked this. I really liked the panel four. And I went back and checked the script, and there's actually change from the script. And then in the script, the priestess behind is like arms wide presenting, and she is kind of a little bit more like, you know, kind of more in, kind of she's like cleared the stuff from her eyes, and she's more in. But instead, he made her presenting, and I realized I like that a lot better. So that was a good note. And then here we are getting into page three. So that's Palace of the Golden Princess, and this project's looking better and better. Uh, what can I say? I'm in touch with somebody. Every man has a price, and that's right. That's right. Okay, that's page three. There's only the first three pages.
He's
But
really really into it.
yeah,
Did
but
I see him on accident?
I don't think so.
I don't know him. I don't think.
Okay,
I would
I
hope
don't.
not. That would be
Yeah,
awkward.
I don't think so. But
I mean, yeah, very awkward.
yeah, but Anyway, I'm talking to module writers now, and this is a new world for me. But in the world of comic books, you got your penciler, your inker, your colorist, your letterer. When it comes to role-playing games, that is a fairly large and well-established market, and there are module writers and cartographers and all that. And I'm just I'm in negotiations right now to contract a guy to write 5 Osric old school role playing D&D modules that I'll make collectible, because we'll publish, just like I published the trade, we'll publish a combined adventure path with all 5 modules taking you from level 1 to level 5, for instance.
One of my
And
friends did a comic kind of like that for Rift.
Mhm.
They came with an entire module in the back.
Neat.
Yeah, super cool.
Yeah. So I think that's gonna be profitable. So I'm looking forward to it. I think January is gonna be great guns. So we got that going, and all the pencils are done on issue 1 of Palace of the Golden Princess, and now the penciler's ready to start on issue 2.
The phrase I would use is thirsty AF.
Yeah.
Issue 2.
Yeah.
Is issue 2 even written yet?
No. There is
no, that's somewhat of a problem.
dealing with issue 2. Questioning about something in his inbox yesterday.
Yeah.
I think, about issue 2 when he was asking about a horse, and I was like, well, here's a dramatic situation we can make as a result of this.
Yeah.
And I think that's as far as issue 2 has gone.
Yeah.
And then he told me to watch Ozarks.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that show.
In that, there was a discussion of Thora, and people were like, let me for a minute go back to Guinevere. I remember when in issue 4, Guinevere convinces a werebear to go along with her on a somewhat dangerous reconnaissance mission, and then they run into a werewolf, and Guinevere runs away, and she runs back to her truck, and she's trying to decide what to do. Should she just get in the truck and leave because it's a werewolf? And then she's like, but then I'm leaving my guy behind. And then I have her think, I'm sure he'll be okay, and go to leave when she gets captured. And I got some notes. I got people going like, dude, she's this is a not likable moment. She's doing something that is not heroic, I guess. But people, I didn't get any pushback from the audience. People seem to like it. She's that her challenge is she's kind of she's an immoral woman from an immoral life, and she is used to disposable men, as I talk about in the issue itself. But so coming to Thora here, I know my fellow writers group people were like, but she's on a mission to deliver Gretchen, her bestie, into slavery, and that's not good. And I'm like, well, no, because she's not good. I guess.
That sounds like a topic for issue 2, and you should put that at the top of your list. Thora has a character moment.
Yeah, exactly. So Thora has a character moment. So I think.
Gretchen becomes evil too, and have her character moment, and then you can go full Ozark, and then just have them hate each other and be stuck together. And if you're not sure how that works, watch a bunch of low-key British comedies with just people who hate each other stuck in the same room together. It's a very trope in British comedy.
Yeah, what is that IT support show?
The IT.
Yeah, the IT or something like that.
The IT crowd.
Yeah, the IT crowd. Yeah, or something like that. Oh yeah, that's a funny show.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, or like they don't even really hate each other. Like I'm talking like the thick of it, where like everyone hates Peter Capaldi's character, and he hates everybody else and swears at them. They also have to work together anyways, and they're just dealing with idiots all the time. Very similar. That's like political satire stuff. Everyone hates everyone. Let's go.
Right.
It's a good start.
So we have all right. The characters we're left with at the end of our issue, we have Thora, Edmund, Gretchen, and a Kelpie.
And a
Alchemy
shapeshifting
summoner.
horseman. And
Yeah.
they all need to hate each other while going on this quest and still have a reason to stick together.
Right. Well, I think
Based
so
on
far
your reference to Week Watch Ozark, personal safety is a good one.
There you go. Yeah.
So that's where you're at. Give everyone their moment, and issue 2 has done its job.
Okay.
That's issue 2. Everyone gets a moment with the scene. Move on to whatever is happening next. They are getting to the adventure. And just make the travel work. Bam. Maybe cut back to everyone back home being evil.
Could be.
Yeah, but you've got 4 characters, like 22 pages. That's about 4 pages per character, plus a few pages of setup, and maybe cutting away to something else. A couple pages of setting up issue 3. Bam, done.
There we go. It writes itself.
Yeah, so just go write it.
All right, I get to work.
It's your job as the creator to figure out how they're evil and why they hate each other.
Right. Okay. I mean, all right. The thing is they are not they're not in civilization anymore. They are now in, the Cyclopean marsh, and
now they could just kill each other in their sleep, and no one would know the difference. Why don't they?
They could. That's a good point.
They all need to want to, and you need to give them a good reason why they don't.
Right. I think someone needs to die horribly. I'm not sure who it is.
I mean, obviously,
it can't be Thoric. It can't be
has
Thoric.
To be Gretchen, because then the adventure goes completely awry, and then you go find someone else to sacrifice to the fucking wizard now.
Okay, there we go. Yeah.
So because Gretchen dies, now they need to go on a side quest for their action quest.
Right.
And now Thor is stuck with Edmund, and a murderous horse man person.
There we go. Okay. Huh. Oh, I like that. All right. Fair enough. Larry, you got an. All right. Let me just ask you, Larry. What do you want to see in issue 2?
It's a good question.
All right, John. What do you want to see in issue 2?
Well, I think since our main character is basically evil, then we need. For me, I would hope. That doesn't
make her a bad person, by the way.
I would hope or want to see some kind of redemption arc.
Okay.
So, however that's going to take whatever will be the catalyst to that is what I would want to see.
Oh, okay.
Because if she's going to stay her evil, horrible person, that's going to have limited interest, at least from my perspective.
Wait. What if I introduce, like, because again, I'm in the D&D tropes now. What if I introduce like some type of magic item that has like some kind of spirit attached, or like vested intelligence that is talking to her? And usually we've seen those as like corrupting someone towards evil. But what if she finds like some good aligned sword or something that starts to teach her of like a prior way back before the land became evil, and she maybe tries to be a force for moral good in an evil world.
Well, that's your classic hero's journey archetype, except the sword magic artifact would be the mentor character.
Right.
I think you should show us that she's evil, because you haven't done that yet.
Right.
Her willingness to go along with the sacrifice of Gretchen is the start of showing her being evil. So if she decides not to do that, then that would be that's almost what we would expect.
Mm-hmm.
If we're almost expecting that. So if we go along with her sacrificing Gretchen, then my concern is she may become irredeemable to the audience. But if she saves her, then it's kind of, well, that's what we expect. That's the
Oh,
predictable
yo,
thing.
how about this? How about you let Gretchen be sacrificed? And she's like, I've made a horrible mistake. And then you go full Arrested Development.
Right.
You
Yeah.
could do that.
You could do that,
and make that kind of the catalyst and make it something that haunts her. Maybe Gretchen's spirit comes back and haunts her or something. You could do that. That would be the harder way to go. As I said, like you've got two easy choices and one hard choice.
Okay.
The easiest choice would be she doesn't allow Gretchen to be sacrificed, because that's what we expect. That's the predictable outcome. Then it becomes her against the evil empire, who, because she basically turned her back on them.
All right, wait. How about this? The group, which is our adventurers, go to the summoner, and the exchange is made of Gretchen for the angel's blood, and then on the way out, Thora becomes convinced of the need to rescue Gretchen, and she has to somehow get Edmund and the Kelpie to go along with that. So it becomes a D&D rescue.
But
in the woods.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, and taking a step back to what I was, if she allows her to be taken and she's killed,
yes,
then you can do the racked with guilt thing. That then kind of drives her forward.
Mm-hmm.
The rescue, I'm not entirely sure. Well, I don't know how she would convince the Kelpie and Edwin to go along with it. I almost like the idea of her tricking Edwin into being the sacrifice rather than Gretchen. That would be interesting and kind of fun if you can play it off, depending on how you would do that. But I think the idea that maybe it should be, well, she thinks she's going to come back and, because I think she even said that in the line. She said, "I'm going to come back and rescue you," or whatever.
Right.
So maybe she's telling herself that she'll be able to do that, and and that's why she goes along with it. And then maybe I would almost say something goes horribly wrong that almost makes that not happen.
Mm-hmm.
Something could definitely go horribly wrong. If we want to go like basic bitch hero's journey with this, which
Mm-hmm.
is always an option, right? What is the job of chapter 2? Well, we've already done Call Adventure. The Queen sends her on an adventure,
Right.
and has received supernatural aid and a mentor, i.e., shapeshifting horseman,
right,
who's evil.
Yes.
So the next step is the Guardian of the Threshold, right? And this is the moment where we establish who our protagonist is and what her goal is.
Okay.
Right. So that's sort of the goal of issue 2, or at least like the main goal of issue 2.
Right.
Who are they and what are they doing? They've crossed the threshold into the other world. We're in the dark forest. Cool. There's going to be an evil wizard. Awesome. Everyone's evil. Ideally, they act selfishly and evil and fight amongst themselves in hilarious ways. Well, they do this so we can establish that everyone's evil, even if other people in the world aren't, like people from other kingdoms. Cool. So is our moment going to be Thora is like, yeah, fuck it, I'm evil.
Mm-hmm.
I've made a horrible mistake, or I'm going to double down on this? Or is it like, well, I'm kind of evil and now something goes horribly wrong and I need to figure out who I am while still doing this quest? So are we having her on a different quest at the end, or is this going to still be about getting the magic back to woman land.
Mm.
Ultimately, where's this going to go? What's she going to bring back
Right.
with her?
Yeah.
I guess that would be another good question to ask yourself is,
Does Thora
at the
want the magic to come back?
Yes.
right, or
There's
do
kind of
you,
yes,
well,
but
it's
we
not
haven't
so
said that
much
explicitly.
it's not so much does Thora want the magic to come back, it's how do you see the story ending? Do you see the story ending with the status quo being returned, or do you see the story ending with something else? And I think how you want to see it end will dictate how we proceed. Because you don't want to write yourself into a corner by going in a direction aimlessly and then realize, oh, I don't like where this story is going, but you're 3 issues in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why I try to write as much of my series as I can before I even start. You know, Dragon Warrior, I have issues 1, 2, and 5 written. I haven't figured out 3 and 4 yet. I have an idea of what's going to happen, but I know my beginning and I know my end, so I kind of know where I'm going and where I want to end up. So I kind of think if you know where you want to end up, then and what you want the world to look like when your story is done, then I think that might help too.
I may just borrow the plot of Expendables.
Go for it.
There we go.
What was the plot of Expendables? I don't even remember that movie.
I don't know, but apparently it worked for Richard C. Meyer.
I mean, maybe Thora learned about the power of friendship. It doesn't matter.
There we go. It's friendship is magic.
Maybe she steals the magic, comes back, somehow saves Gretchen, and starts her own like lesbian evil woman kingdom in competition.
Or maybe a good lesbian kingdom rather than an evil lesbian kingdom.
Let's go for like a neutral lesbian woman kingdom. Right?
A republic, a lesbian republic.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna have to reboot my computer because it's not downloading the script. So you guys talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back.
Yeah, your cam froze too.
Yeah. Be right back.
So I know Preston's totally going to rewatch this, by which I mean, of course, he's not.
I don't think he even does anything with these streams when they're done.
You'd be surprised. While editing Palace of the Golden Princess, I went back to our discussion on the back half, like version 2 that Preston started. Actually, that entire conversation, based on that and what you guys said would work, that was the direction I took to rewrite it.
So who's writing it, you or Preston?
Preston wrote it. I added a couple more pages and sort of spread out some of the whys of why characters were acting and all of that. Like, so we added a background threat. There's a misdirect. There's a chase scene at the end that comes out of the action scene with the talking tree. And we really expand on the distance and the danger of the forest as a result.
Right. I remember the conversation about the danger of the forest and amping that up. So
yeah. And so now, like, Edmund's a little bit evil. Gretchen's a little bit, it's not Gretchen. Thora's a bit violent, but they still have a reason to be together, which is this forest is kind of scary. And then when Thora's on her own, the forest is really very scary, and those scary creatures will not approach the Kelpie
because they're even more scared of the Kelpie.
Damn right.
Hello.
So that was actually how issue 1 got revised, thanks to the stream and YouTube.
Oh,
John and Larry, not Preston. Preston is not one of the two. Preston was the writer of this, anyways. So yeah, that was actually really helpful, and I mean, it was a little bit by committee, but it still improved it.
Hey, that's what we're here for.
Indeed. I think there's like a lot of exciting resources available to people. I don't know why people get so I don't know.
About what?
Sometimes I just get discouraged about about how petty people get. All right. So we got Dragon Warrior.
Yes. So if you guys all remember, issue 2 started out with the Julia in the farmer's market, stealing fruits and vegetables in order to take care of 3 kids, and they're all living in an abandoned house. And then basically it ended. She was being chased by a police officer. And then it ended with them kind of having a mini confrontation in the house, and then we cut back to present day. So I've been developing Julia's character a little bit more and her internal conflicts and yada 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 does. So I wrote in addition to that flashback opening, and basically this is Julia being recruited by U.S. Army intelligence.
Okay.
Which would be the CIA, but the CIA doesn't exist in 1939.
Just a quick note. You got 5 panels here, but you got 6 panels there.
Yeah, that's because I think I added one at the last minute.
Okay.
But you are correct.
Now,
yeah.
Larry has already offered a note. He says all your female characters sound the same. We'll see. We'll see. All right. Who's narrating?
I was thinking on Danny narrate.
Okay.
Larry, I'll have you do Julia.
Yeah.
And Preston, you do Gantz.
Okay.
When he shows up, and I will do everybody else because there really isn't a whole lot of other lines for other characters. It's mostly going to be Julia and Gantz.
Okay.
Okay.
Panel 1, exterior, condemned house, day. An abandoned house, in desperate need of repair, surrounded by overgrown grass and a cyclone fence. A no trespassing sign hangs on the fence. Julia pulls apart 2 pieces of the fencing, slipping between them. Panel 2, exterior, dining room.
That should be interior dining room.
I'm cool with the exterior dining room. Yeah.
Well, I guess if there's no roof on the house, it could be an exterior dining room.
It could be an exterior, yeah.
Dirty and torn wallpaper covers the walls. The table, while made of worn and weathered wood, is kept clean. Julia unwraps the shirt on the table, letting the fruit and vegetables rolls out.
Dinner time.
Panel 3. The girl from earlier enters holding her dolly wearing a worn and dirty dress. Is
Bobby.
the girl or the dolly wearing a worn and dirty dress?
Both. I already described what the girl was wearing when we saw her earlier.
I don't know if I was there for that.
That's okay. Bobby, Mikey.
Panel 4. Interior living room. Like the dining room, dirty and torn wallpaper covers the walls. The boys sit on a well-worn couch in the living room arguing over a comic book.
Get in here and eat before it's gone.
Panel 5. Now in the interior dining room. Julia cuts up the fruit as the children come to the table singing her praises. Behind her, we see Jacob standing in the kitchen.
Julia, Julia.
Come on, sit down.
Panel 6. Reverse of panel 5. Julia stands facing the kitchen, the knife raised over her shoulder. The children hide behind Julia, peering out from behind her with huge eyes. Page 10. Interior interrogation room, day. Panel 1. Julia sits in a chair, hands cupped behind her back. A policewoman sits beside her. Panel 2. Gantz enters, holding 2 Coke bottles and a file.
You may remove the cuffs, officer.
Panel 3. Gantz sits at the table across from Julia. He has the 2 Coke bottles gripped in his left hand. One has the cap removed, steam exiting the tip, as he has his right hand over the other bottle removing the cap. The file he came in with sits on the table. Julia sits rubbing her wrists, which are sore and red from the handcuffs.
Would you please give us a moment?
I'll be right outside if you need me.
Panel 4. Julia presses the ice-cold bottle against her sore wrist. Gantz sips from the other Coke bottle.
Sorry about that. They don't make handcuffs in child sizes.
Panel 5, close on Julia. She glares at him, unamused. Panel 6, lower third of page. Gantz holds the file open, reading.
How do you say your name? His Shuboshi?
Julia.
Julia. I can work with that. Your father was killed when you were 9 years old.
Murdered.
Bitch, correcting my English already. All right.
Yep.
Page whatever, interior interrogation room day. Panel 1, inset over panel 2.
I stand correct.
Gantz looks up at Julia. Panel 2, large panel. Gantz continues reading.
You lived with your mother in Hawthorne until she passed of breast cancer. I'm sorry for your loss. You were 13 and you've been living on your own ever since.
I'm fine. Better on my own.
Panel 3, also inset over panel 2. Gantz looks at the concrete walls of the interrogation room, smiling in mild affirmation.
You're definitely moving up in the world.
Set back temporarily.
Panel 4, inset over panel 5. Gantz reads from the file.
We got insets over insets. All right. 6 months ago, you assaulted a man and kidnapped his 3 children.
He hurt them.
Panel 5, large panel. Gantz sits back. The file lays open on the table.
You took out a man twice your size? That's pretty impressive.
Mama makes sure I handle myself.
Let's go for a walk.
Page 12. Panel 1, inset over panel 2. Interior police lounge day. Julia and Gantz stand outside the lounge, looking inside through the window and the door. No coffee. Panel 2, large panel. Jacob stands with an elderly couple as the 3 children still wear the same dirty clothes, and while in need of a bath, their faces and hands are clean.
Kids, I won't... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Kids, I want to introduce you to your grandparents. I'm your mama's mama. You're going to be staying with us for a while.
Panel 3, narrow, interior police station hallway. Gantz leans back against the wall, arms crossed. Julia watches through the window, smiling. A sense of relief comes over her.
Detective Lang tracked them down in half a day. The assault charge, I doubt a jury will convict a 16-year-old, barely 100-pound girl. The petty theft, maybe 6 months in juvenile detention center. But the kidnapping...
Panel 4, Julia glares at Gantz.
For that, you'll be going away for a long, long time. Unless...
What?
Panel 5, Gantz looks Julia up and down. Oh no.
I have a job that requires someone with your stature.
Oh no. Damn it, John. Page 13. Exterior Orion Industries high rise. Night. Panel 1 splash page. A 12-story high rise office building at night. The moniker Orion Industries top of the building, across top of the building. The O being replaced with the Orion logo. See photo references. On the roof of the building, we can see the silhouette of a man holding a rope. Several meters from the roof, we see another silhouette of someone belaying down the side of the building. Panel 2, zoom inset. Gantz, dressed in black tactical gear, stands on the roof, holding a rope linked through a pulley system strapped to his body harness. This is hardly a splash.
The correct word here is repelling.
Ah, okay.
Panel 3, zoom inset. Julia, dressed in black ninja-like gear,
Hell yeah.
descends upside down from a rope. Panel 4, inset, interior executive penthouse office. And upside down Julia peeks into the open window. Oh, sorry, the open office window. We see only her eyes and forehead. The office is dark, empty. Okay.
Chinese ninja in Los Angeles.
I'm mostly confused how we see her forehead and also inside the window she's looking at. Panel 5 inset. Julia through the open window feet first. Also, she must be really high if she peeks when she gets down to the window. Womp womp. Page 14, interior executive penthouse office. Panel 1, Julia stands at the desk looking over papers scattered throughout. No copy. Panel 2, Julia pulls on one of the desk drawers, but it's locked. A hovering lock icon with exclamation point. I kind of love that, by the way, John. Panel 3, Julia kneels by the desk drawer working on the lock with the lockpick. Click. The hovering lock icon is unlocked. Thank you, John. Panel 4, Julia flips through the files in the unlocked file drawer. Panel 5, inset over panel 4, Julia's point of view. Julia fingers the file tab headers. Pulls one, a file named Tragbear Panzer. Tragbear Panzer?
There you go.
Yeah.
File Tragbear Panzer.
Yes. Panel 6, large panel, file Tragbear Panzer lays open off the desk. Julia holds her Argus C3 camera, taking pictures of the document. Panel 7, inset over panel 6, camera lens point of view. A schematic of the aluminum archway from issue 1, framed by the camera viewport, no copy. Panel 8, inset over panel 6, camera lens point of view. A financial ledger dated back to 27th July 1929, signed by Su Sheng, framed by the camera viewport, no copy. Panel 9, inset over panel 6. Julia looks up from behind the camera, shock on her face.
I gave you an emotion, Preston. You should be happy.
I know. See, look at that. We have an expressive face.
Page 50. It's an inset panel on an inset panel beside another inset panel. So, I mean,
this is like Inception.
At least it's not flash match. We're good. Page 15, exterior Orion Industries building roof. Panel 1, Gans pulls on the rope, no copy. Panel 2, Julia scales the side of the building, no copy. Panel 3, Gans holds Julia's hand, pulling her up to the roof, no copy. Panel 4, Julia pulls the mask down from her face with one hand, shoving the camera at Gans with the other.
When you plan to tell me about my father?
The day your father died.
Murdered.
That's a funny gag. Panel 5, Julia stands with her back to Gans, angry and frustrated. Gans stands behind her.
The day your father was murdered, he met with the Marshal Service about some anomalies in Orion's bookkeeping. I read the report. Unfortunately, race killings are all too common. There were no arrests. They kept an eye out for a while, but after several months, they figured you were safe.
You read that wrong, Preston. Try that sentence again. Read every word.
Unfortunately, race killings are all too common. There were no arrests. They kept an eye. They kept an eye you for a while. They kept an eye you for a while, but after several months, they figured you were safe and closed the case.
There you
So
go.
they kept an eye on her. On John. They have an eye on her.
Yes,
I rewrote that paragraph like 2 hours ago.
That's fine.
Panel 6, Julia faces Gans, determined.
The case isn't closed until his killer sits in jail.
When was this set?
1939.
1930 something.
Yeah, looks like it was set about right then.
Did the state in which it was set have the death
California.
penalty?
It's California. I'd have to double check.
Because is hanged is going to sound a lot better than sits in jail if you're trying to go for angry about a murder and wants revenge as her motivation.
Justice
Page
is
15.
her motivation, but
Okay,
that's what I'm going for.
cool. Page 16, panel 1. Inset over panel 2, let's go. I actually really genuinely do like that you're doing this.
There we go.
Because this is, I think, the first thing that you showed us, or showed me, that is thinking about page layout really aggressively. Exterior St. Monica All-Girls High School. Black Dodge Brothers, DC-8, barring consolute flags. Sits
Bearing.
parked
It should be bearing consulate flags.
Yes, it should be bearing consulate flags.
Oh, ULAT for consulate. Sits parked in front of the school. Gantz, dressed as a valet, sits behind the wheel as Julia sits in the back. 26 September, 1939.
I understand this girl is bothering you, but she is the daughter of our target. Any undue attention brought to us could undermine our intelligence gathering.
Panel 2, large panel, interior black sedan. Gantz turns, looking at Julia. She sits in the back seat, holding her backpack in her lap, not happy.
So you fine with her behavior?
Get the intel. It's hard to not hear that in a Chinese accent, but all right. Get the intel we need. You'll be out of there in less than a week. Can you bear it? Can you bear with it that long?
The other girls bear longer than a week.
Once we take down Orion, she loses her power, right?
Panel 3, also inset over panel 2.
There you go.
Julia sits in the back seat. Her gaze is narrowed.
Stick to the plan. Get the intel. Get out.
Yes, sir.
Panel 4, exterior, St. Monica All-Girls High School. Gregory Zhuyev stands beside a black Chrysler Imperial. The doors open. Alice exits the back, though she were a queen. No coffee. Panel 5, Julia stands outside the consolute sedan, staring at Alice as she walks up to the school. That's what he wrote.
And we ran out of story.
Yeah, it was only 6 or 7 pages.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I don't know, Larry. I felt like there was some Julia was our character, and she was a lady, and she was fine.
Well, I read something earlier that had 2 female characters.
Oh,
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Now, let me ask you this, Larry. When you were reading it, were you reading the original screenplay format, or were you reading the script format?
I think it was script. I don't know.
Because when I write my first drafts, I don't really focus too much on character voice. When I rewrote it into, like Preston making the comment about it's really hard not to hear you with a Chinese accent. That's because when I wrote it the first time, I wasn't thinking accents. When I converted it over to the comic format, I started thinking about voice and how I wanted the dialogue to sound. So I made a lot of changes to dialogue and how people talk.
Okay.
So
I don't know what I was reading. It was earlier today. That's all I remember.
But I mean, this one there's really only one female talking, so that's why I was a little confused.
There you go.
When you made your comment, because I'm like, I don't know what characters he's talking about.
Yeah.
It's only one character.
All right. So we had a cop pressure an underage girl into doing some ninja work, like you do. And he got pictures of corporate wrongdoing, presumably. And on that basis, he is given Julia. Well, what does she have to do? Oh, she has to go rescue a girl, right? Or no, get an intel. What does she have to do?
She's intelligence gathering.
Okay, more the same. Okay, cool. All right.
He needs her to go undercover at the school.
Yes. Okay, there we
Wasn't she
go.
already undercover at the school?
I feel like as a student, she's the most undercover she could possibly be.
That's the idea.
Okay.
But the recruitment was not in issue 1.
So this is like 21 Jump Street. All right, fair enough. Okay.
Also,
like the movie or the TV series? Because I didn't watch the TV series.
Okay.
I did watch the movies.
All right, fair enough.
why is there a consulate vehicle? I feel like that's going to blow her cover.
Her cover is that she's the daughter of a Chinese consulate member.
Oh, that was really unclear.
Yeah.
That's in issue 1 when she's introduced to the school class They say, "Hi, this is Julia. She's new here. Her father works at the Chinese consulate."
And we just read issue.
Hello. Yeah.
We just
I
read
guess.
We just read issue 2. That's
Okay.
Hello,
issue 1.
fellow
We should
children.
definitely remind the reader what happened in issue 1. In
Yeah,
this case,
you
we
might
got to say
need a
that
little
clearly.
bit of expository dialogue to patch that up, just so the readers can follow it.
Because otherwise,
Casey-
the police officer,
Oh,
for
by
some
the way,
reason,
we have a
Fine.
vote for TV show as opposed to movie. So there you go.
Well, my thought was more like how the TV show Arrow started, where like the first part was a flashback, and then we cut to present time. So that's kind of what I've been doing.
I mean, the TV show Arrow started with 13 episodes in a row that were all Batman Begins, but worse. For 1 hour, Batman Begins, but worse. And Batman Begins, but worse. Then Batman Begins, but worse, with Captain Jack Harkness. Then Batman Begins, but worse. Batman Begins, but worse. Batman Begins, but worse. Batman Begins, but worse, with like that girl Archer character. Batman Begins, but worse. And then whatever the
Danny,
fuck
tell us how you
happened
really feel.
in which
It still sounds better than Batwoman, by the way.
It is.
and then the Captain Jack Harkness's evil plan started coming to fruition, and it was fucking awesome.
Okay.
I mean, the bar to beat Batwoman is pretty low. It's like, I think the only thing worse than Batwoman might be Deus Vult, but anyway, yeah.
I was surprised that Ruby Rose was just tapped out after 1 season. Like
that was pretty funny actually, but they're like, okay, you
But,
get
all
this.
right. Yeah. So
Hey,
Larry,
Diego,
what do we think of Dragon Warrior?
Oh well, apparently I was reading something in a fever dream earlier today, so I don't know what I read earlier. But anyway, that wasn't too bad. Although it was kind of confusing, but just because it was a flashback in the middle of a scene. Well, it was a flashback in the middle of a scene from a clip from 3 issues ago, and anyway, yeah, it was just a little hard to follow. That's all.
Fair enough.
I think the page layout for the Spycraft is really good.
Mm.
I think the page layout for the conversations in the car is also really good. It's a way to make the design interesting without having to do extra paneling.
The panel layouts were good.
Focusing on the characters the way you do is really solid. Really great use of establishing shots. The Spycraft comes through. The dialogue in the interrogation scene is like a little bit stiff, but that's just like it requires one more pass, and I think you're fine. And once you connect the dots and one of the reasons I started drawing attention to the no copy thing during the Spycraft scene is like, because you're a comic, unless you're going to spend time doing this, that's a good opportunity to say, oh, they're working for the Germans. Or whatever, right? Just saying it is actually going to help. Even when people are paying attention to the art, they might not be paying attention to the copy on the page, but they're always paying attention to dialogue on the page.
Yeah.
So that's, I think, a craft moment that would really connect the dots for the audience, and I think would really help, given that this is a flashback. But we've got a very highly motivated character doing stuff, and then for some reason, Alice turns up at the end.
She's back to steal panties.
Oh. I feel like I have missed like multiple episodes of Dragon Warrior. And as far as I'm aware, I really haven't missed very many episodes of Dragon Warrior, and it's all very confusing, but I'm sure John has it all under control.
I don't think the stealing panties thing was ever presented.
Is Alice still a panty thief? John?
Okay.
Character?
Alice the panty thief, right?
Wow. You brought it up, so okay, fine.
Okay. Oh, I'm just discussing the concept of Alice as a character. I didn't know if it was still there.
I had been intentionally vague about
Okay.
certain character traits that certain characters had
All right.
to avoid creating drama.
This is fine. I don't worry about it.
Wait, are you suggesting? Hold on, can we just back you up for a second, John?
All right.
Because I want to clarify right now whether you're suggesting that you discuss drama with us, with our wide viewing public, or if you seriously thought it was a good idea to write something that ridiculous and then just hide it from everybody and hope it would fly when people are giving you money for your book. Because I'm 90% confident from the way you're embarrassed by it, and the answer is no.
All right. We don't have to talk about it.
You totally don't. Oh, God.
It's fine.
You just do it.
All right.
So the evil
Alice,
German.
whether Alice is a
Gravity
panty thief
scientist.
is to be determined.
Yeah.
But if she was, I mean, I
Very
could
lucky
almost see a
thing.
line from Julia. That bitch stole my pants. Oh, what?
Wait, hold on. If this is motivation for an upcoming fight scene, I rescind my
There we
previous
go.
comment.
Yeah.
I'm behind that
There
up
you
to
go. The Alice Julia, like,
Yeah,
you know,
like
standoff with like
I'm
the,
gonna
it
pull
closing
your
in on
hair
the
out.
eyes.
Bitch, I want my
Yeah.
panties back.
That's right. There we go. Yeah.
I didn't really think that it was going to be all that. Well, I mean,
It's a big deal when you steal a schoolgirl's panties.
Just a little bit. Yeah.
It's a war.
Yeah,
It's a bigger deal though if she's still wearing the panties. I think that was.
well, she wasn't after they were stolen.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But,
All
yeah.
right, so, yeah.
I'm just saying if they were just lying someplace and someone stole them, it wouldn't be such a
Right.
big anyway. But anyway,
Larry, you tried
yeah.
to fix it. That's John's job.
That's
Yeah.
right. All right. So, on these pages.
to answer your question, I don't know.
Okay.
I may
To be
cut
determined.
Alice's character because
All right.
it doesn't really go anywhere,
Okay.
and
We don't like
The-
those.
the
And I gotta say, particularly, like, you know, that's a very personal thing to be doing to somebody. And if you're not gonna be that important to the story, then why are you even there? You know.
it was a subplot that ended up not going anywhere.
There you go. All right.
So
And-
if it doesn't work into if it doesn't resolve itself in a way that integrates into the plot, then yeah, I'm gonna just cut the whole thing.
Sounds good. In terms of these pages, I felt like some of those panels could have been cut. You were showing us a lot of, you know, okay, we've had our discussion. Now we have to act out our discussion. And here's Julia climbing down the building and getting in through the window and getting the file and reading the file and taking pictures of the file and then climbing back up and then meeting with the guy whose name starts with a G.
Gantz. Yeah.
Gantz.
Her handler.
Yeah, her
Gantz.
handler. And don't feel like you necessarily need like all those panels. You know,
Okay.
like when Danny was reading narration, there was a number of times where it was like no copy. I don't think you need that much establishing stuff, particularly when this is stuff people have already seen before on TV. We've already seen the ninja sneak in, get the shit, sneak out. We've already seen interrogation rooms. We've already seen, you know, police apparatuses. Now we haven't seen, you know, a consulate car in front of a high school going in where Julia's sneaking in to get intel on the super secret science. So I would say you give us some more expressive faces and some more sneaking in to the high school with Alice, who may not exist anymore, or whoever's going to take her place.
I'm going to
yeah.
spend more time on Temperance because she is our main villain.
Okay.
That was my thought. If I remove her, then I'll have more time that I can
There you go. Yeah.
have Julia focus on shadowing Temperance as well as the other aspects of what she's going to be doing in the school.
Right. There we go. See, 100%
So-
agree. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that was my note.
And my issues are already pretty long. Issue 1 is 32 pages, and issue 2 is 28 pages.
Yeah.
That's a
So
lot.
Oh, I mean,
Yeah.
you should at least like push stuff around to the same length. Otherwise, people are clearly paying for more or less pages for the same amount of money. And in indie comics, retaining the audience is going to be like that's the hard part, right?
Yeah. That is the hard part.
So that might be a production consideration.
I don't know. Yeah.
But I think once you've written all of the stuff between issue 2 and issue 5, you're going to have enough stuff that you might want to actually just foreshadow earlier that it shouldn't be a big deal. So whether that's
Right.
like whatever the super weapon does, or wherever the panties are ultimately hidden, or whatever the key aspect you're getting in, then that's something you can foreshadow earlier, right? And make that like a location that the audience isn't surprised that you go back to. What? I'm taking the panty subplot seriously.
There you go.
Well,
There you go.
yeah, okay.
If it's a high school drama or dramedy,
Yeah.
I guess that's a thing.
And if we're starting to talk about weeaboos, well, then it becomes all about the high school panties. You know, like,
Yeah.
Weeboos,
they
or
like
do you mean
Weeaboo and
waifus?
Weeaboo pics. So I mean, there's a
Weebs.
Oh, weaves, yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's who my target audience is.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, look, you
no.
like once you introduce high school panties, like that has to become an important element of your story. You know, like, otherwise you're not
I'm
doing proper
totally
fan
behind
service.
it if it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what everyone was laughing about because I wasn't there for that last time, clearly.
Well, like I said, that never actually happened in the stream, but
Yeah.
yeah.
There you go. But you know, like,
So
look,
you didn't
he's
miss
going
that.
over 24. He's just giving people bonus stuff because
Bonus
in part,
panties.
he's
Yeah.
a little loquacious. He can't quite cut it down. Enjoy the extra content. That's how I look at it.
As long as he's not adding it when the book's leaked.
I
That's
just
good.
have too many. I have too many subplots going. That's kind of the why.
Enjoy the
Yeah.
extra subplot.
Yeah.
No,
You're throwing in
Basically, basically, I got
credit.
Subplots within insets within
Yeah.
subplots. Yeah. It's like,
Thing,
yeah.
oh
That should be the name of your comic book company. It should be subplots within insets.
All the subplots are in insets. Yeah.
Yeah.
They happen over the other panels, yes. Anyway. At the same time.
All right, I think that was all we had tonight.
Oh man. Was that it? Okay.
I mean, did anyone else?
y'all
I mean,
being
Larry's.
lazy and not dropping pages.
Actually I
Well,
started
next
writing,
week,
but
I better get on the ball with this Golden Princess stuff for the project's gonna run away from me. So next week I'll be
Yeah.
presenting pages about that.
And they
So
have pages for Signature Period.
there you go.
Who's Chris Clamera?
I think he's talking about Chris Claremont, which
Who's
I'm
Chris
not sure
Claremont?
what the reference. Chris
Chris-
Claremont is.
It's a comic writer.
Yeah, he's a
Anyway.
comic writer. Yeah.
He did
He
like
did
X-Men
X-Men,
and stuff.
rather famously,
Yeah.
the X-Men run.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he was. A lot of people like will go back to. I want to say he was big in the '90s.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Chris
he-
Claremont
he-
was the X-Men run that was big enough.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he was. There you go.
He did X-Men 92, which was like probably one of the most popular runs of X-Men. So, yeah. That I can recall anyway. But
Don't get the reference.
All right.
Subplots
If
within
you know an
subplots, yeah.
X-Men story,
Oh.
then hopefully Chris Claremont wrote it.
Exactly. There you go.
Full stop.
Yeah, there were a lot of subplots in that run, and they, yeah,
Well, you have what, a subplot for every X-Men character,
Yeah,
right?
pretty
'Cause They all
much,
have
yeah.
their own. Yeah.
and they all crossed over, and it was pretty good that way.
You know,
So,
that might be an approach. Give Alice a subplot, like an actual subplot, where she's the main character of that plot.
How she steals the panties. It's
There you go.
It's like,
Why
It's
she's
not,
so
Hal is not really the question.
I gotta say,
question is the
based on the
why.
script I read, Hal was certainly playing a factor.
But we corrected that.
Yeah, we did. We did.
oh God.
Preston, since we have a ton of time,
Yes.
before you start writing, because you have a whole week to go, give us the pitch for issue 2. Now that you've had a good half an hour to think about it.
All right. So
If you need subplots, let me know. I probably have a
yeah.
And they may not even involve in your story. They might want to involve it.
I really think you should watch that video I sent you, though. It might help you
Okay.
with your plotting
Alright.
structure. So yeah.
Let's see. I need to. All right. I remember. You guys remember Battlestar Galactica?
Sure do. Both of them.
Yeah. You know.
Actually, all 3 of them. Sorry.
Yeah, I ended up liking. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah.
And really all of them were pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Well,
well, go ahead.
1980 was debatable, but it was okay.
That doesn't even count. That doesn't even count.
It counted. I
Doesn't
watched
count.
it. Yeah, it's like,
It when the show is when the show is so bad that when you're at like the script and negotiation stage,
yeah.
and your entire TV cast just nopes
Just
out,
says like,
nope.
fuck this. Yeah.
You know, you should just drop
Well,
it.
except for Lauren Green, but I mean,
Except
like,
for Laura Green, it was
yeah.
like, I'll take
he was
it.
like, I'll do whatever the fuck you want me to.
exactly.
It's like,
Sounds good to me.
oh god.
Yeah. But in the new Battlestar Galactica, I forget what her name is, but fans just fell in love with her. She was this tech. By the way, if you want to know, Claremont was the king of the subplot. It would take years for one to solve.
There you go.
Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Cool. But I forget her name, but she ended up killing one of the versions of Boomer the Cylon. Just like, yeah, came up and shot him in the chest. But she was just like, you remember that character?
Yeah.
But she was like really beloved, and people
What the
were
hell
like,
was her name?
I can't remember her name. But she was this like, she had this girl next door look about her, and she was always in like the grease monkey overalls, and I don't know, people just like had a soft spot for her. And then later on, when they started going a little darker with the show, people were like, "No, you can't." They like the audience was rejecting it because they liked thinking of the character in this one way and not this morally ambiguous way.
She went fucking crazy.
Yeah. They wrote her character kind of darker as like the season progressed, and the audience revolted. And, like I'm just noticing, like everyone seems to kind of like Gretchen, and like
So-
I better decide. I think quickly.
When did everyone like Gretchen? When did that happen?
Yeah, I better look. I remember in presenting the pages, you know, people were like, "Well, she can't give up Gretchen." Like, I guarantee, if I wrote Gretchen as a bitch, everybody would be like, "Yeah, dump her off with the summoner, bye." But you know, because
exactly.
no, it's all touching.
Well,
and,
she can't be a bitch though. She has to be a little bit wholesome, right?
Yeah.
that's
So
her
you know,
character.
She's the most likable, wholesome person in your story so far.
Incidentally, she also talks the least and has the least to do with the story so far.
She does.
Let's reserve our judgment until she gets an active role.
Right. And so, I'm thinking she needs to take some kind of action that is important. And I basically, if I don't
have her
assign
cut Edwin's throat in his sleep.
If I don't assign her some kind of evil thing to do, then she is going to be forever wholesome. And I got to decide if I want her to be forever wholesome or not.
Okay. So yeah, issue 2.
That depends on what you want to do with her in the story.
Yeah, I'm still not exactly sure.
Are you saving that cat?
Pardon?
Are you going to save that cat?
Right. Basically,
I need to define what the conflict is.
Yeah.
And
that's kind of an important part of the story.
That's an important part of the story.
I mean, you did write a perfectly good first issue that
it's
should
fine.
define the conflict.
Yeah, the other conflicts. Well, I mean, there's the main conflict, which is restoring the magic or at least dealing with the crisis before the kingdom. But there are so many ways to go with that, given all the different personalities who are potentially fighting for their own different resolutions to a we have a political crisis, and this calls for political courtly intrigue, and that's why I like Ozarks and stuff like that, which are about people who are in kind of working business relationships that will resort to violence and murder when things go poorly. And
That
that's
is not the lesson I got from Ozarks. Like, I did see why you asked me to watch it.
Okay.
And I think it's a good reference for your show.
Right.
To jump off the Battlestar Galactica reference you gave earlier, and now I'm pitching for you, and you're the writer, so
right. Sounds
we're
good.
just at will.
Yeah.
I think episode 2 works best when you write a version of 32 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're in the woods, in danger, and everything should create stress, and they should be paranoid AF because they're like, who knows what crazy shit Edmund's going to do. Gretchen should be deeply worried for her future life if there is one. And one person knows there's an evil magic horse, and the other two don't.
Right.
So I think you should make it as tense as possible and have everyone be really stressed and say what they really feel and tell us, the readers, who they are in doing so. Then, ultimately, if your goal is to say everyone here is evil and slightly self-involved, like Ozarks,
right?
And in Ozarks they are, right? Like, there's that moment in episode 1 where the wife takes the money, knowing that her husband could die if she did, and she did it anyways, and he's still stuck with her, right? So, you need those moments.
Yeah.
So everyone has their evil moment, so you then establish this is what this world and these interactions are like.
I think what I'm going to have happen is there will be a breakdown, and essentially we're going to have two groups. We're going to have the summoner and Gretchen, and who, or at least is in possession of Gretchen, versus Thora, and got our Thora, and then we got the Kelpie, and then we got Edmund, who's kind of the loose cannon, and that there's going to be essentially a standoff / combat involving those two groups, and come up with a resolution. I'm not sure what the resolution is yet, but at the end of issue 2, there will be Thora will be returning to the kingdom with the vial of angel's blood. And
over
the
a
audience,
field of corpses?
Yeah, probably over a field of corpses.
I think all 5 characters should be a loose cannon, and they should all go off in interesting ways.
Okay, there you go.
Have all of them be a loose cannon.
Right. Yeah. So I'm thinking essentially at the end of issue 2.
How is that not a loose cannon?
Yeah. At the end of issue 2, she's going to walk back over a trail of bodies, bringing a vial of angel blood to the queen.
There you go.
That could be the start of issue 2, really.
But don't you want to see her killing the summoner and killing Edmund and killing?
You want to see what you determine the story's all about.
Okay.
Is it actually about these 3 characters, or is it about Thora? It's like, oh, this happened. She comes back with a friendly magic horse, a whole lot of corpses, and the angel blood. We don't even care if the summoner is alive.
Huh, that's true.
We would.
That's true, yeah.
So does she get her magic and then start conquering the world? Or is this actually about her moral choices on the way to making that decision?
Okay.
There's an old rule, like in even in filmmaking, where if the main character goes into a scene or into a fight and he wins handily, it's boring.
Right.
So just skip it. There was one of the really cool ways it was done was in Mad Max Fury Road when they stopped the truck and they're all getting out and they're all getting ready, and some of the bad guys are coming up behind them, and Mad Max grabs his shotgun and he basically walks away from them into a cloud of dust. We hear gunshots, and then he walks back out of the cloud. We didn't need to see what he actually did, because we know he's our title character. He's not going to die. He's not going to get hurt. And we're 30 minutes into the movie, so he's not going to get mortally wounded now.
What if Thor returns to court with Edmund?
I mean, what if Thor returns to court and not everyone's actually dead, and some of them are now out for revenge for whatever she's up to next?
Well,
and then she's made her own villains.
Yeah, here's what I'm thinking. Like, Thor returns to court with Edmund, but it turns out it's not really Edmund. It's the Kelpie having shapeshifted in Edmund, but I don't tell the audience that. It's like, I'll leave that hanging.
Well, you leave that hanging for the end of the episode. That's fine. That's yeah. Secretly, it's a Cylon. I'm behind this.
Right, but meanwhile, Edmund has been left for dead, but he's going to come back in some more like out for justice kind of form, and then
zombie. Maybe the summoner resurrects him as a zombie.
There's so many availabilities, and
I mean, maybe Edmund's actually dead, and Gretchen somehow comes back.
Maybe, yeah.
And since this is a story about female protagonists and female queens and stuff like that,
yeah,
Gretchen's actually probably worth leaning to.
Mm-hmm. Because
you want your men to be disposable if that's going to fit the tenor of the kingdom that you've established.
Right.
That would actually work if they gave up Gretchen to the summoner, and then she comes back with a vengeance and a vendetta.
Oh, I like that. Okay.
Yeah. And you still haven't come back with Edmund, because Edmund's, he's a prince, and that's a good use for the Cylon. You can keep the Kelpie around. Then the Kelpie has its own plan. Dora has her own plan. The evil queen has her own plan. And then eventually, Gretchen's going to show up and try and murder everybody, because she's secretly the hero of this story, because she was dragged off to the forest and left for dead. She's angry Snow White.
I like it. Okay. All right.
Or John Wick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He just comes back and John Wicks them all.
Gretchen I like it. There we go. Gretchen just starts John Wicking people. That would be awesome. Okay, cool. Yeah, I want to write that. I want to see what that looks like.
I really look forward to reading that.
All right, cool. All right,
make everybody aggressive and a loose cannon.
If you're gonna have Gretchen John Wick everybody, then we definitely need to see her going through the pains and angers in issue 2.
Right.
We need to see like a bit of lead up to that, and we still cut away from the actual.
Or it can be, we can show it in like a couple of flashes. Where Queen Arika asks like how it was, and we just have a flash of memory of Gretchen going, "Oh my god," expressive.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah.
Because we have issue 1, we have Keanu Reeves playing with the puppy,
right,
and then issue 2, puppy gets killed.
There you go.
Issue 3, puppy comes back from the dead.
In a comic, that sort of works. I'm just thinking like, I kind of personally hate flashbacks. Again, I'm writing flashbacks on purpose and other things. Like, do we even really need that, or do we just need to like cut to Gretchen, like, sawing herself out of some horrifying monster's belly, and like, kicking the decapitated head of the summoner, this is the first time we even see it.
Right.
Right, tripping over an actually dead Edmund, so we know that there's a fake Edmund.
Right.
And then being like, I'm going to get that bitch.
Okay.
That would be how you would. That would be a good way to end issue 2. Like you have issue 2.
Don't even show it. Start. Just be the last scene of.
Right. You have issue 2 with Thora and Edmund just walking around the castle or whatever. They're doing their thing. Everything looks like it's going back to status quo, and then, bam.
And maybe she puts on Edmund's bloody armor and she's ready to go to war.
Okay, I like it.
Bam. Okay, so now we know where we're going.
I don't know if she would fit in Edmund's armor, but.
I mean, she's much chestier than Dora is.
Well, not to mention, one of the elements is, if you can regain the magic Viviax, you can grow in size and slay people.
Well, Gretchen doesn't have a magical gem.
She doesn't, but
maybe the summoner has one on his bookshelf.
Yeah, she gets to take over all the summoner's knowledge, and she could become an evil witch.
She could, yes.
Why are we not doing this? This is clearly a story about evil witches now.
I like it. Okay. Evil witches.
I mean, for the next 5 minutes until we decide on something else.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next week I'll have some pages for you. I'll see what you think.
I hope you've got enough possible directions to go in at this point that you're excited.
Me too.
You're excited. Okay.
Yes.
Let's see what crazy.
Yeah,
shit
I
you
mean, look, I'm really excited about the monetary potential of this thing, and now I'm just like, oh shit, it's
Yeah,
gonna.
now you have to write it, man.
Yeah, now I have to write it. I'm like, I've checked the market. And there's a ton of money here. Quick, I'm gonna
That's
write
always
something.
the hard
Quit
part.
quit
Yeah.
seeing dollar signs and start seeing the ink.
There we go. All right,
Yeah.
cool. All right, everybody. I will see you next time.
All right.
All
Good
right.
night, everybody.
Good
Woohoo.
night.
Night, everybody.
Yeah.